Executives love the idea of cascading OKRs from the company level down to every team and individual, right? It sounds tidy and organized on paper. The number one most common question I'm asked in intake calls with people interested in working with me on objectives and key results, or OKRs, is how do we actually cascade OKRs down to the individual? My answer is a spicy take, but for now, I'll give you the short version. Don't. If you're struggling with OKRs that feel more like a burden than a clarity tool, stick around. I'm going to share with you why the traditional cascading approach fails and what you can do instead. I'm Sara Lobkovich, a strategy coach, author, and OKR activist who helps organizations skip the BS and build strategy and OKRs that actually deliver focus, clarity, and impact. Because strategy and goals aren't about decks and docs. They're tools for guiding daily choices and actions to help improve your performance. In my work with hundreds of clients globally across I can't tell you how many industries, I've seen firsthand how traditional cascading models, like the ones you read about in popular books, fall short. Today, I'm going to share some of the pitfalls of that classic approach and the no-nonsense localization framework I use that's both practical and proven. Before we get into it, if you want an accessible, clear, helpful resource to help you build better OKRs and implement them more successfully in your organization, check out my private podcast series in the description. It gives you real tools and exercises and step-by-steps, not just theory, to make OKRs work in your organization. The first issue with traditional approaches to localization is the volume problem. Too much, too many. And having too many OKRs hurts our focus instead of improving it. The classic cascading approach multiplies OKRs exponentially. 4 company objectives with 5 key results each make for a set of 20 goals. Cascade that to 5 functions, each creating 3 to 5 objectives and key results, and you quickly wind up with over 100 objectives and key results flying around to try to keep track of. And that's just one level of localization. Most of the books talk up localizing to multiple levels like level 3, level 4, even beyond. At that point, our OKRs are multiplying like bunnies, and we really have to ask ourselves, are we making things more clear? Or are we taking time away from implementation to create and administrate goals that don't actually help us focus better? I stopped localizing to L3 and beyond in most clients when I noticed that during the alignment review process, so that's when we've created the company OKRs, we've created the localized OKRs, and then we do a final alignment review to make sure that we didn't miss anything, that we don't have anything in conflict, that nothing's pointing us in the wrong direction. I had multiple clients not be able to actually complete a full alignment review with that company level, functional level, team OKR structure. It's only 3 levels of OKRs, but review teams, including the CEO, would lose focus after the first few functional teams and just be like, okay, it's good enough. If we can't even focus long enough to review our full set of OKRs, we have to ask ourselves, is this really going to give us the focus that we're hiring OKRs to achieve? The second point is really simple semantics. Key results aren't objectives. This is a really critical disconnect. A lot of cascading models assume that you cascade key results down to become objectives for lower levels, but that's just not true. Objectives are directional goals. There are what to aim for and why it matters. Key results measure progress or measurable outcomes. They're the math of how we know we've achieved our objective or how we know we're making progress on achieving our goals. Dropping key results down to be other teams' objectives tends to lead to those teams just creating task lists and calling them key results. Because few teams actually have the authority to influence significant measurable outcomes that align up to a single upline key result. So what we see there is we just tend to see teams identifying tasks. Even with really good coaching, once we hit the implementation level of the organization, What they actually need, yes, is to understand how their work aligns to what's most important, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they need a set of key results. It might mean that they need 1 or 2 key results to help them stay focused on what's most important to achieve. So here's the no BS alternative. I use a flexible localization model with my clients, not rigid cascading. So instead of forcing multiple deeper levels and layers of cascading, the approach I take focuses on creating really strong, high-quality, best practice OKRs at level 1 and level 2. That way, as leaders who have more authority and autonomy, we model the best practices of what an objective is, what a key result is, and we can model the behaviors of safety to be curious, to learn, to experiment that we want to encourage in the rest of the organization. So leaders walk the talk. Below level 2, though, we shift to a bottoms-up approach so teams can ask 3 critical questions to do that bottoms-up aligned goal setting themselves. First, do any upline key results mathematically roll down and directly connect to our work? If so, we can just adopt those as key results. In addition to any key results that just directly roll down to the team, we can ask ourselves, of these upline OKRs, which ones do our work support? Once we've identified the upline OKRs that our work supports, then we can write our own objectives, key results, and milestones about how we support those upline OKRs. And the third question we ask is, what else must we achieve locally to support the company's maximal performance? And how would we measure success on those local goals? Or is what's most important that work just get done, in which case we can create milestones? Not every team key result is going to align to a company OKR. We might have teams that need to set key results around improving their run the business activities. For example, think about a payroll team. Payroll isn't necessarily going to see a key result at the company level or even the functional level that specifically addresses their work. But a payroll team might know that to support the organization's people and culture goals and their growth goals, it's really important that they improve the accuracy and timing of their payroll activities. That kind of improvement goal might not directly connect to something in the upline OKRs, but it's one of the ways that payroll team is going to improve their performance to help support the larger organization. Working with this model creates fewer but clearer objectives and key results tailored to team realities and allows for cross-functional initiatives to have OKRs without drowning us in volume and complexity. Now I want to ask you, what's been your biggest challenge with aligning goals across your teams and company? Share your experience in the comments. I want to hear what's worked and what hasn't for you. If you're ready to stop struggling with cascading chaos and start creating OKRs that actually work, join the private podcast linked to from the description. It contains 6 focused episodes breaking down what really drives successful OKRs. You're going to hear about successful approaches to practical implementation as well. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe for more no BS insights on achieving strategic change. In our next video, we'll dive into one of my favorite topics, the critical difference between OKRs and KPIs and how they work together. And don't forget to sign up for the private podcast to go deeper on making OKRs your team's tool for greater focus and clarity. I'll see you soon.